even if you look at the archaeological, things that you can see and the description, there is a connection to the environment because from what the briefing we had, there are certain changes in animals and people as a result of the environment. There is the Rift Valley, a lot of things that have happened over the years, millions of years, can be attributed to the changes in the environment. So this is huge. I can already do the prediction, which is great.
I love it. I've just had, I always used to hear about the museum where there is the history of Ethiopia, and I'm so excited to come, especially the history about music. It's quite exciting. So I'm happy to come here, and I think this is a very nice place where anyone coming to Canada can start from here, and then they can move around to understand where the whole thing. I even learned what Addis means, that it means flower or something. So it's quite good and interesting, and I'm happy to come visit.
From the airport, went to the hotel, we saw the tree, and now I have seen the museum, which has the history I used to run even at school.
One thing that I have really appreciated is the understanding of why Ethiopia is called the land of origins. The land of origins. Based on what we have seen around and the explanations, I think it now makes sense. As someone who comes from another country, it's very easy for me to say, no, Kenya is better than Ethiopia, But I have confirmed that there is every reason to refer to Ethiopia as the bigger brother. Even if you want to just appreciate history, I think this is where the history of humanity rests. Because let me give you an example. Even the Rift Valley, the way it cuts across the countries from Ethiopia, you come down to Kenya and Tanzania, you can even see the origin. So what we have in Kenya and Tanzania originated from here. So there is that bit, there is the human history dating back to millions of years, and that's a huge thing. That is a great thing to when I go back to Nairobi, I'm going back with the rich knowledge that I did not know if I would not have come here.
So much information. I love from where I'm coming from. It's very beautiful. The cabins are beautiful. I can see there's a lot of environment consciousness in the city of Nairobi. And I like that. I think that is something, or even as in Nairobi, these days the cities are coming up so much. I think it is something that Nairobi can follow.
The climate aspect has been incorporated into the road. We have roads for vehicles, walkways for pedestrians, and in the sides for motorbikes and bicycles. I mean, it's a smart city that every other African city should emulate. It's a beautiful city.
A good transformation for me. I've noticed some things in town and the city compared to my country is very small, and we are still developing. I've seen how the roads are, and even here at the museum, it's really big compared to us in Malawi. We only have, I think, 3 of them, but they're not so big like the way it is here. So I think it's a big transformation for me.
The city of Addis is a wonderful place. I arrived at night when I came from Nairobi, and one of the things that hit me is I did not see any place that was dark. So there was proper lighting everywhere we passed through, from the airport to the hotel. And even today, you can even see in not so many places, even in Africa, have this kind of facility that is operating even at night. So really a lot of things to learn from Addis, from the setup. The other thing that caught my attention is the traffic network. Roads are really wide. pedestrians have enough space, to walk, unlike many cities that I have been, that, you are struggling with cars and motorbikes, and it's chaos. I haven't seen that here for the last 2 days. So the setup of the city is really done well, and just like the other Africans, the people of Ethiopia are very hospitable. And I like this because even in Kenya, where I come from, Kenyans are known to be very hospitable. So we really blend as a people. That's a good thing for our integration.
The first thing I learned is that during colonization, it's among the countries that were never colonized because of the strength. And from there, Ethiopia, in my view, in my eyes, it has been developing, including the recent development we read in news about the biggest dam that you have constructed. I also experienced or read about the aviation sector, where you have like over 100 aircrafts, which I have not seen anywhere in Africa. I have seen the biggest airport and roads, the hotels. So I think the irrigation, previously I saw engineers coming to Rwanda in a hotel, somewhere in a meeting. So I have seen so many changes really here in Ethiopia. Visit Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, is to come and experience the developments that are going on. Because as Africa, we should learn from each other. We might have little progress in some countries, but if as Africans learn from one another, then the whole Africa continent could develop.
I loved every experience. It looks organized. There is no much traffic jam like where we come from. And the vehicles on the roads are so well disciplined. No overspeeding, no overcrowding of people on the streets. It's so much organized.
If you're coming to Addis, make a point of visiting the museum. It's always good to go somewhere and understand the history first, and then now you can move around and see the evolution from where it was some years back to where it is now, to the urban development. You appreciate these things, and it is such a beautiful place. Let me say, from the years I was here to now, it is very beautiful. And especially walking around the night, it's quite beautiful. The street light makes it very beautiful. So it's a nice place, and it is worth coming to visit.
Going to school, we were learning about the dam and the issues around Egypt and the restrictions, things that could not be done. So I think what Ethiopia has done is huge for the region, because one, it's going to open up for all the other countries to be able to freely enjoy and use the natural resource, which is water, without another country saying you cannot use the water that is in your country, for whatever reasons. So what Ethiopia has done with the dam is an opener, and I believe the rest of the countries in the region and the entire Africa is going to follow suit. We are looking at production of electricity. With that, and even the smaller that we have in other countries, I don't see why we should be experiencing power blackouts or even high electricity tariffs. So this is just the beginning. We hope that even as the others think about what they are going to do with similar resources that they have, that things are going to be better for the people of this region, Eastern Africa, and Africa at large, as we begin enjoying fully the resources that we have. And that means making life easier for the residents of Eastern Africa. If some of the things that we have to pay for become less costly, then the money that we have can be used for other things. Development, people can go into business, people can do whatever it is that they can do, rather than using their money to pay for huge electricity tariffs, to pay for, huge difficulty in access to water and these kinds of things. So it is huge. Now everyone is crying about Donald Trump and cutting funding. Ethiopia has just shown us that with your own resources, it is possible to put up something like that, while other African countries would still go to the West to ask for money for electricity generation. And yet we have the water resource that is here. All we have to do is channel the money that we have as a country and make things work. So if the leadership, the people that we give the mandate in leadership position as president, prime minister, members of parliament, and whoever, if they could change their mindset to development without looking at China or the US or Russia or whichever place and say, we can use what we have, let us start from here. So Ethiopia has shown the rest of Africa that it is doable without support from any other country. And if we want to see people, following through, we want to see Kenya coming up with a mega project using its own money. We want to see the same in Tanzania and Uganda. We want to see the same in Malawi. We want to see the same in Lesotho. We want to see the same everywhere. Mega projects with huge returns that are going to be of benefit to the Africans in those countries, using the resources that we have in those countries. And we are going to grow exponentially.
Being an African, I think we should believe in ourselves first and not have the mentality that help has to come from somewhere. I think within ourselves we have the capability, we have the personnel, and we even have the brains for us to develop ourselves. So I think Africans, we should have confidence in ourselves that we can do our own things and we can build our own cities and our own country. And especially even on food. For us, Africa, it's a bit of a challenge, the food insecurity. And I think we have. I just learned today that Africa has the 60% of the global arable land that is uncultivated. Much of it is from Africa. So I think that tells us something, that in Africa we have the capability and we have the potential. And we should believe in ourselves that we are the people to change our own continent.
Every other capital city in Africa to visit Addis and come to benchmark on how a city should be designed. And I would love to spend more time in Addis to tour the city, tour different places of the city and outside the city of Addis Ababa. To visit the new dam that was launched recently. I would really love to come back and visit that place. Thank you.
City is really amazing, and I'm looking forward to come back here in the future.